Death Note is a horror film, and the film is about a young man who comes across a book that grants him the power to kill anyone by just writing their name in the book. And as you can see, I'm joined by my sister. We both watched this movie. Before I begin, I've never read the manga that this film is an adaptation of. My sister has read the manga, so she has a better understanding of what the world of Death Note is. And what did you think of the movie?
Well, it was certainly interesting. It had similarities to the manga, yet it held a lot of differences. Mainly the few things that were similar were some of the character names, like Light and L. However, they were very westernized for some of the other characters, whereas Light's last name is no longer Yagami, but is now Turner, which is a completely western name. A majority of characters were whitewashed.
Yeah, this film was bad. It's not one of the worst films I've ever seen, but it's one of the worst films I have seen from this year. And like you said, some of the characters are whitewashed, and that's only half the problems. The film is terribly acted, things happen that make no sense, and the film is just dumb.
It's definitely a very dumb film. It's very fast-paced. You just go from one scene to the next just like that. And literally, because we kept checking the time all throughout it, we're just like, oh, how far are we into the movie now? And then we're like, oh, we're only 10 minutes in and all this has happened.
Yeah, and in the first 10 minutes alone, he gets the book, and basically he kills someone in the first 10 minutes. And like I said, it's only in the first 10 minutes, and that's how rushed this film is. They try to get things over and done with as fast as possible.
It seems like they were trying to, I guess, cram so much stuff from the manga into the movie in the 90 minutes that they had. It sort of seemed very oh, we need this, all in. And it's very just rushed and messy.
And the things the characters do in this movie just felt weird and off. When the main character and his love interest start killing people, they get a sexual thrill off of it. They start having sex while they're killing people, which just felt weird and out of place.
Yeah, it's definitely out of place, especially considering how in the manga Light's doing it for justice, I suppose. It's a sick, twisted justice that he's doing it for, but he's doing it for justice nonetheless. Whereas Misa, or Mia in the film, is doing it in the manga just to idolize Kira.
And while we were watching this movie, you kept pointing out how a lot of the characters are different from their manga counterpart. The character of L is so different in this movie than he is in the comic book.
Yeah, he's definitely a lot more reserved in the manga, whereas in the in the film you see him go from being calm and collected into sort of this very revenge-heavy mindseted person.
But there is just so much more wrong with this movie. They try to shoot this movie as cool as possible. There's a lot of Dutch angles. There's a lot of close-up shots of the character's face in front of the camera. And like I said, this film is rushed, dumb, and the story is just ugh.
So it's a shame because in the manga they've got so many more amazing characters, and then they've cut out so many of them for the movie, which I suppose is a good thing. It would have made the mess that the movie already is into one even bigger if you have all these different sort of stories going on at once.
I do have to admit this, the only things the film has going for it is the music's actually pretty good, and the ending actually felt like it was going somewhere, even though the ambiguous ending kind of ruined it.
The music was very good, especially in the chase scene between Light and L. It gave a very intense vibe to it, I suppose, and a bit more of an action sort of vibe to it.
Overall, while it's not the worst film I've ever seen, it's one of the worst films I've seen from this year alone. And like we said, the story makes no sense, the characters are performed terribly, things happen that just come out of nowhere. The film is very much rushed as it doesn't give us enough character development time. So would I recommend this movie? No, I would just avoid this movie. This film is terrible by every sense of the word. It's not Dragon Ball Evolution bad, but it's pretty bad, so I would just not watch this movie at all. And I'm gonna give Death Note a 2 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5, and this has been my sister. Thank you for watching.